hosts, Cody and Jacen. Say hi, Jacen.
Hello.
And we are excited to bring you the conclusion or the series finale of Wheel of Time. Um, but before we get there, on to any news or messages or anything else we want to share with you guys.
Yeah, mostly I think for us, again, both you and I have been busy this week, and me being sick, I really haven't been focusing too much. I've just been huddled up reading, and I finished You Mean the Nightmare Painter, which highly recommend if you want to read a Sanderson book and you're at least well versed a bit into the world. Definitely check it out. There's a lot of good references, and it's just such a good book. It is so good, and the fact that it's Sanderson's favorite of the secret projects should just tell you more about it.
Yeah, it sounds like a really good one.
Mm-hmm. One of my favorites, and I just love all the quotes in it, especially because most of the quotes are about art.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Then we also had Ahsoka season finale this past week as well.
Yes, we did. And it was
We
good.
mm-hmm.
I'm kind of excited and sad at the same time. I it was it was really good. I think they ended in a really good spot. I I saw a theory video, and because of that, I know exactly where this is going now. And so I'm just like, oh man, I did not see that coming. Mainly because I don't know the expanded lore all that well for Star Wars. Um,
Interesting.
but yeah, do you want me to share the theory?
Nah, because again, we're gonna cover Ahsoka next week because I'm gonna
Yeah,
just binge it this week so I
sounds
can
good.
get all in one go. But yeah, then that way we can
Okay.
talk about the theories and I can I can explain the expanded universe.
Oh, sounds good. The one question I do have for you is you have seen all of the Clone Wars, correct?
Clone Wars. I actually have not watched the last season of the Clone Wars, but I watched
That's
everything up
fine.
until there.
That's fine. That you will. It's just a certain thing from midway through, mid to end, late. I think like season 5 of Clone Wars.
Okay.
There's something in there that gets referenced at the very end.
Ooh, should be intriguing.
So, and that's what gave away. So the theory was before I saw the finale. And then I saw the finale, and I'm like, oh, they are going that route. Okay, so, but we'll talk about that next week.
Okay. Now I'm more intrigued to watch it, but then again, I've been saying that for weeks.
Maybe you'll finally do it.
Maybe I'll finally do it. Sit down and watch it. I think we have Disney Plus from my. I'm technically using my mom's Disney Plus account, but it still works.
Hey, as long as it works.
It works. I'm a cheapskate. Anyway, we're moving on past it. Uh,
I have been listening to because I got the audio of Percy Jackson and the Chalice of the Gods. I'm down to the last hour or two of it, and it's been really good, really enjoyable book. I mean, it's not terribly long. I think it was like 6 hours long, like
oh,
six or
okay.
7 hours. But they're still really good, really enjoyable. Um, Percy is just such a freaking badass. Like there's no other way to put it. I love him so much. It's just such a great book.
How old is Percy in this book?
17.
17. Okay.
Yep. So this is actually my biggest gripe with it
Okay.
is he didn't age with us, I guess.
Okay.
And so I'm going from book 1 back when he was 12. I mean, there's never years put with it. Not that
Mm-hmm.
I remember. So it works. But the things in the culture at that time are not the things in the culture now. So the things that he was experiencing culturally at 12, now at 17 are so far gone, so far different that it feels like, I don't know, I just like he was frozen in time. And
Okay.
it's just he's 17 in 2023, but he was 12 in 2000 and like 2007
Yeah.
or whatever year the book came out. I know it was I think it was after that, but still.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
Um so yeah, that's my biggest. my biggest gripe. But at the same time, he's writing for today's audience. He's writing for the kids of today. So I get it.
Yeah, it's so actually I've been watching a lot of like South Park. Like there's one channel I follow on YouTube that like will show clips of like South Park, like best of Butters, but best of this, best of Stan. The one I was watching with Stan was like he formed a metal rock band because his dad moved him out onto a farm, and he's just like, I'm sick and tired of living out of on this farm. He wants to be a rock star and get out there. So a producer, after seeing him perform at a like basically battle of the bands kind of event,
Oh
was
yeah.
like, yeah, I want to sign. He's like, oh, really? We're going to get a record? It's like, we don't do records nowadays. What are you, a kid from the 90s? Yeah, South Park was made in 1990.
That's hilarious.
So again, so when you said that was made for like he was in a different time, but he's still that age, that was what came to my mind. Is like, oh yeah, we always got to remember that these are the kids of today, and that's the audience he's aiming at.
Yeah.
Because I think it would be kind of cool if it was like a more here is a Percy Jackson in his actual age, if it was year by year. Like he would be our age, so it would be just kind of the way Percy Jackson would tackle this stuff, and as a young adult. Oh,
Yeah.
we're almost no longer young adults. We're just
I know.
adults.
We're just adults. We're not young adults anymore. You hit 30 next year, dude.
I know. I'm dreading that. Oh,
Uh,
oh my gosh,
yeah, we're not young adults anymore. That's gone. That's long gone.
bro. We're getting older.
Yo. I mean, shoot, I got 2 kids. I know.
Yeah, you got me beat. You got 2 kids. I'm like, I've been married for a year.
Hey, no rush.
Again, all this happens in their own time, but that's
Yeah.
beside the point.
Yes.
The main point of this podcast is to cover fantasy stuff, and so we're gonna transition into our core
We'll talk
topic
about
today.
your I'm sorry, I'm kidding.
I'm living my fantasy. Okay, actually, there's one hiccup, which will be happening in February. So, which is I'm going to
listening.
clarify this. I still live at home. I'm moving out. I'm moving out. After I move out, then I am living the fantasy.
Congrats. It's so nice to have your own place.
It's nice to have that freedom and not to just again. It's just
Yeah.
the economy's hard.
It is. And I mean that's the thing is me and Ashley, we had our own place for 2 years when we were first married.
Mm-hmm.
And then due to circumstances, we had to move in with her mom and then with my parents for a while.
Yeah.
And it happens. But
Mm-hmm.
we're back to having our own place. We now have a 3-bedroom and it is amazing.
Yeah, and that's the thing I'm looking forward to. It's like okay, get an apartment of our own, and then when me and Megan are ready, get a house of our own. We want to be homeowners. And that's how you can tell you're an adult is if your dream is like, I want to own my own house.
Dude, we have ours picked out. So we're actually looking at these townhouses right next to where we live right now. We toured them, and they are amazing. We're in them. We're just like, this feels like home. This is what we're going to aspire to. And then once we get that, we're going to buy property, and we'll probably build a house on that property and rent out the townhome. But until then, that townhome is like our next big goal, and we're so excited for it.
And then after this, gonna talk to you about something because I need somebody else with me on this, and I know like I can throw Megan in on this, but I also got one other guy who's willing to go in on me with Japanese real estate.
Oh. I mean, hey, if it makes me money, I'm down.
No, just like we want to go out and not timeshare. Go out and buy these abandoned houses and then turn them into Airbnbs.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
But anyway.
Anyways, yes.
So the logistics we'll get into later. But anyway, on to the main topic.
Exactly. So this one, episode 8, season finale of Wheel of Time. Overall impression. What was your overall impression of it?
They did an amazing job. Like they knocked it out of the park. In fact, I had one beef from the book that they did correctly in this. And that's the very end, which we will get to at the very end.
Okay. I'm excited to hear what it is because I thought they did a really great job too.
Yeah, they did an excellent job.
I'm starting off though. Where do you want to start?
Uh,
First off, or who do you
you
want
know,
to? Excuse me. Who do you want to start with?
let's start off with the flashback to 3,000 years ago with the sealing of Ashamael.
That was so cool.
That was awesome to see all the male Aes Sedai, and actually the cool thing that I love they did is they have all the men wearing black.
Yeah.
Because again, they show that like the women's half the power is white and the male half is black.
Okay.
So it was just really cool to see that symbology go into this and having that entire conversation in the old tongue. Oof, they are nailing the little details.
They are. And that's one of the things I didn't know was that Ishamael was good friends with Luz as well. And I thought
Yeah.
that was a really cool thing to add in. And how they tied it in throughout all the episode of them being like, no, like we're gonna turn him by turning his friends. Because that's what happened to us. We were his friends. We were that close group. And we got turned. And so just seeing that, I was like, oh, I see why they're thinking this way. Like that's really cool.
And I did like that approach because it gave these like villains, the Forsaken, a purpose, a reason on why they're doing the things that they're doing, a method to their madness, so to speak.
Yes.
Which I love that they kind of gave that reasoning, whereas in the book it's never really listed like that. For Lanfear, it was always listed as of she was Luce Theron's like first girlfriend, first ex.
Hmm.
But it never really covered any of the other Forsaken's motives other than they are serving the dark for their own personal purposes.
Yeah.
So it was really cool that they like, you know what, let's up the ante with Ashamael to have it be, and the reason why Ashamael and Lanfear are working together is because they were Luce Theron's closest friends.
Yeah.
So I really like that.
I
And
agree.
uh,
I'm
okay. So now going forward, how do you want to cover this? Do you want to cover this by like party?
sure.
Like one group, like we can talk about the Shan Chan and Shan Chan, just kind of what they're doing, the White Cloaks, what they're doing, and then we can then move into like the core group and what they're doing. Does that sound like a good approach to this?
I think it's a great way to put it.
Okay, because then the next scene is it's in Falma and it's the White Cloaks.
Yes.
White Cloaks preparing to raid Falma, and I like how they show Child Bornhalt and his dad.
Yeah. So that was really cool. I am because I know they had referenced his dad before, and like his dad is the reason that he wasn't getting in trouble, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I am, and then showing him and showing kind of the I am difference between the two, where his dad is very sure of himself. He fully believes he is fully like invested in this, and he's going to do it regardless of how dangerous it is. If it looks like they can win, he just to him he fully trusts the light to go and do what he feels is right.
Mm-hmm.
It was really cool to see in that. What is it? What's the word I'm looking for? Extremism,
Zealotry, maybe?
zealotry. That's the word. Yeah, he's just like I said, he's a zealot, and he fully committed to it. And I love seeing that compared to his son, and how his son has more of the doubt. He's still gonna do everything he can, but he has kind of that doubt. He's just like, I'm more practical, and we can't do this. And
Mm-hmm.
then towards the end of that time when they're fighting, and then he's just like, yeah, well, we're actually doing it. He goes, what, you doubted? Like, haha. I thought it was really funny.
I thought it was really cool to show the father son relationship
Yeah.
because in the book, uh, his son's not there. It's actually just Elder Bornholt that's doing this assault.
Okay.
Because this is what leads to conflict with Perrin and Child Bornholt later
Hmm.
on, is because Child Bornholt blames Perrin for killing his dad, because inadvertently, it kind of happens that way.
Okay.
Perrin didn't actually go out and kill the dad in the book. It was more on like they summoned an army, basically. Yeah, the horn gets blown, the army of the undead comes, of the dead heroes, and actually wipes out the White Cloaks and the Shan-Chan. It is
Oh.
it is very much like in Return of the King when Aragorn arrives with the ghosts.
Yeah.
Like that's how I imagined it in my mind. Is just all these heroes from ages past come through and they just decimate everybody.
Makes sense.
So it was never really explicitly shown that yeah, Perrin kills Elder Bornholt.
Yeah.
But I really like how they show that relationship, show that connection between father and son. Because again, I'm pretty sure you've experienced this with your dad, but it's just like, oh, you haven't seen anything yet, my son. Let me show you where you need to put your belief.
Yeah. Very much so, where he's been there, done that. He has the faith, and he because he has the experience.
Mm-hmm. And I do also like how in the White Cloaks it shows that you do have honorable soldiers like the Bornholts. And then
Yes.
you have the questioners that are the not so good part of the White Cloaks,
Yeah.
like Valda,
Hmm.
where it's his job to find and interrogate the witches, aka the Aes Sedai. Whereas the
Yeah.
White Cloaks, the soldiers, like, no, we're protectors of the light. We are here to fight against the darkness, kind of thing.
Exactly.
So it's kind of cool that they are showing that kind of dynamic. That not every White Cloak is a Valda.
Yeah. No, I'm really enjoying that as well. And you're like we were talking about before, where we know in the last battle everyone's gonna kind of um choose sides,
Mm-hmm.
and absolutely know that like the young, uh, what was his name again? Horrible. I can't say it.
I'm gonna have to, yeah, just
The
keep talking. I'll
elder
look
and
it up.
younger, whatever.
I say child Bornhold because that's actually a
Bornhold.
rank
Bornhold. That's
in.
what it is. Okay, so Bornhold. That was the name I was looking for.
Okay.
Um, they they have this conflict, but he's a good person.
Mm-hmm.
You know he's going to choose to fight with the light and fight with the dragon against the darkness. And likewise, on when they call the heroes, I mean, you see some of the like one of them was from the group of the slavers,
Mm-hmm.
and you know that some of them will join the light as well, because that's the entire thing is that they think they're serving the light. They're all twisted about it, but they all have that same good intention. And how
Mm-hmm.
they do it is wrong, but they have that good intention, and so they'll come together in the end, and there's going to be conflict, but as a whole, parts of each group are going to come together and fight against the darkness.
Yeah. And I just looked up his name. The younger one's name is Dane. Dane Bornhold.
Dane. Okay.
Okay, I need to write that down. But child is actually a rank in the White Cloaks.
No. Okay.
So that's why for me is like, oh, it's always child Bornhold. That's how I helped differentiate between elder and younger.
Makes sense.
But I think that's a good kind of approach and summary of the White Cloaks. Now to the opposing side, the Shan-Chan.
Yes.
Love the preparation Ashamael did with them to get them semi-ready, but I still love the surprise assault and the way the White Cloaks did it.
Yeah. Although, one thing I do have to say, um, when the cavalry came running through the smoke, right
Yeah.
before that, they had showed the group of kids walking closer, and then all of a sudden the horse comes out from right where the kids are. I'm like, oh, those kids are dead.
Oh
Those
yeah.
kids just totally dead.
Actually, the kids summoned them.
Yeah. And then I'm just like, there's no way they could see the kids because they can't see out. How is this going to stop the horses from tripping? I'm just like, how does this work? That was my mental image with it. It looked really cool. It was a great, really cool tactic. But at the same time, I'm just like, I don't feel like this is practical.
Oh, not practical in the least, but who cares about practicality?
I know. It's Amazon. They have to put on a show.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll stop.
Oh, no, that's a good pun. But the Shan-Chan, honestly, most of the Shan-Chan, it becomes more into what a Shamael is doing and for maneuvering. This is the cool part within Wheel of Time in the books, in the show, that they've just nailed, is there's always moving pieces on a chessboard. And you begin seeing this in action.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Of how they brought in Bel Domon.
Which one's that?
uh Bel Domon was the one pirate or one sailor in the
Right,
beginning.
right, right, right. Yes.
Uh,
That Lanfear talks to him.
yeah, Lanfear talks to him, which is important because this is actually what happens in the book. Not Lanfear talking, but he's in Falma. And big thing that happens, because again we're still in the Shan-Chan, Lady Suroth. Him and
Mhm.
Lady Suroth, they meet up. That's gonna be
Okay.
fun for the beginning of the next season.
Wait,
Because what?
wasn't Lady Suroth the one on the boat that got blown up?
Yes,
So she's not dead.
she's not dead.
Okay.
She's not dead yet.
Spoilers.
Or is it? No,
I
she
mean,
actually
it
doesn't
is.
die. She doesn't die.
Okay, well, that is spoilers because it makes her look dead in the show.
Mm-hmm. That is a bit of spoiler. But again, dude, like, come on.
No, I know. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying spoilers for people who are listening.
And this is in the book. They could do away with this entirely, okay? Like, this is
Yeah.
where if they do stay true to the book, okay. Go check out the book. Because this is what happens in the
Yeah.
book. This is a different turning of the wheel. This is what was before it was turned into an Amazon series. Is that Lady Suroth and Domon, they meet up.
Okay.
Anyway, so it's just kind of cool to see. It's like, okay, that chess piece is there. That chess piece is there.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to keep those chess pieces there till season 3. Now moving on.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's just minor. Anyway.
No, you're good. One of them that I think was really cool and showing those chess pieces and them playing is actually with a Shamael.
Mm-hmm.
And this is for the very end of the episode, but I feel like it's again, we're just talking about things leading up to next season.
Yeah.
And how he set up through all of this, because he knew Lanfear was going to betray him, and she's
Mm-hmm.
pretty much flat out said she's going to throughout the past few episodes of the season, anyways. But knowing this, and almost expecting to die, that at the very end of it, he releases all of the other Forsaken.
Mm-hmm.
And it was such a cool way where you see that, because before I was like, oh, he's actually kind of surprised that he lost here. And then it goes to that part like, oh no, nope, he was hoping to win, but he had everything in play in case he lost as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh man, that was a good, like, that was well thought out. That was so much going on, and it was very impressive with his chess playing.
Yeah. The way because again, honestly, if you're looking at the Battle of Falma, looking at everything at all of it, the true winner was Lanfear.
This is true.
And so as you even see at the very big end, she is kind of skipping down. It's just like, oh, all right, life is good, life is good. It gets to this like, what? Oh crap.
Yeah.
It was very much like a spoiled victory,
Yes.
which was fantastic. And that is very, very Wheel of Time like.
Okay.
But now we'll get into the Battle of Falma and the many moving parts.
Yes. I think we should stick with the Shan-Chan for a little bit and talk about
Mm-hmm.
Egwene.
Yes, I was gonna say let's go to the Egwene with the Dumani. They're attacking of the White Cloaks and that kind of stuff. and to move on to everybody slowly converging on Egwene, because Egwene is the central figure everybody's trying to get to.
Yes. I really liked that she was willing to attack the White Cloaks.
Oh yeah, no, that's because this is the funny and character flaw with Egwene that makes her interesting, unique. She holds a grudge.
Oh, 100%.
And so what Valda did to her in season 1, she's like, the White Cloaks must pay. Kaboof.
Yeah, and so that's the reason I really liked that she attacked them, is because it felt very true to her character. And it felt like what honestly most people would have done. That they know the I mean, sure, the White Cloaks are trying to free them from these people, but at the same time she knows she's gonna be killed if they get to her. She doesn't expect to live if they win, so she needs to fight for her life. And why not? They're right there. Get your revenge. Kill them. There is no reason not to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really liked that, where in that moment, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, in that end, until she didn't need to be.
Yeah. Although what I found funny is like after Egwene did that attack, what Rena says like, "Oh, good girl." It's like, it's a pet.
I'm not gonna
Like
go there. Okay.
I just laughed because the way she inflected it, the way she spoke to it, it was literally like the way I would talk to my dog,
Yeah.
which I still love my dog. But just the way she said it, I was just like, oh wow.
Yeah.
But I love how they did the whole Soldan Dumani, them getting ready for battle. Oh yeah, before we even got to that, I loved it that Rena was just like, you know what? No, I'm not gonna cut your tongue. I'm gonna cut something that is gonna hit more, and cuts her hair.
Yes. I thought that was really interesting.
Because she was okay, so going into the lore of the two rivers. For women, when they become of age, they have their hair braided. They let their hair grow, and a sign of womanhood is when she can have her hair braided.
Mm-hmm.
What Rena just did was cut that entire thing off. So, in one respect, it almost said to her, "You are no longer a woman.
Yeah.
You are a child."
Yep.
Of it made the impact a lot harder.
Yeah. I was sitting there and I was like, I know there's significance in the braid, and that's gonna be like more intense if I understood this better. But at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, I got the message.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's one thing they absolutely nailed in this is they still displayed in a way of like, oh no, you didn't fully understand it, and those that did read the books that did understand it, it hits hard. It hits hard across the board.
Yeah. I think they
So
talk about it in the first episode, the very
mm-hmm,
first at the very beginning. And
yeah,
so it was like playing in the back of my mind, but it didn't have that full memory and cognizance of how much that meant.
yeah, and that is just something they did beautifully well in this.
Yes, they did.
We get to where they all start converging.
Yeah.
Love how like the trebuchet does hit the tower
Yep.
as Rena's just like, okay, you're not going to defy me in front of all the other Soldom.
Yeah. Um, in my mind, when that happened, I was there to go, she should really think Egwene, because they both would have died. It hit right where they were standing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next, like literally, the next thing she says is, when I was thinking that, is, it's your fault that everyone died. It was your position. You should have been the one defending that spot to stop that from happening. And I was like, oh, hey, there's two sides of every coin.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's another way to think about it.
And and I think that's what the series has done very well. Is like every time I've like had a criticism, they've had a purpose for it,
Yeah.
which I very much appreciate. Because it's one thing that has again rings of power. Okay, we can criticize that till we're blue in the face. Okay, and they have no defense. Okay, Will of Time has a defense on why they chose what they did. And that is something as a viewer I greatly appreciate.
Yeah, I agree.
Me down a peg and it's like, here's the reason why we did it this way. And I'm like, okay, I understand it. Let's keep going.
Hmm.
So I just, again, Will Time season 2 has just absolutely killed it, in my opinion.
I agree. I am speaking of killing it. Let's talk about Egwene and her Domani.
Her soul. Oh yeah, yeah. No, it is her demon.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
I love how they did that. That was just done so well.
It
From
was.
and even the way they foreshadowed it was done beautifully. Where you see the collar fall off of the other Dumani, and you can
Hmm.
see the wheels in Egwene's head turning, and immediately you're like, you knew that she was going to try to throw it on Rena.
Yep.
And then I love Rena's arrogance. She's like, huh, you stupid Dumani. That only works for people who can channel. And then.
I love how last week we were talking about that, and then it
Yep.
reveals on this one. I was like, yeah.
I gotta learn to bite my tongue, man. I'm sorry.
No, it wasn't that. It was very much so just the like I should have seen this coming before that. And I'm just like, reminder of me being an idiot. But that's the thing I love is that I don't see things the first time through.
Hmm.
And there's times I'll go back the second time and I'll understand better and I'll see things I didn't before and how much it makes it so much better. And that's why I love about this the series is I feel like watching this through a second time will add more and more to it and I'll pick up more and more things. And
Hmm.
I could watch this another time. I could watch this season. I could watch this 2, 3 times and just keep picking up on things and learning more about everything that I missed the first time.
Yeah. Like, and that's
That's
the. Yeah.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
go. I was gonna say, and that's the thing that really makes this remarkable. Because Rings of Power, I don't even want to ever watch it ever again, just because getting through it one time was tough enough.
It
But
was.
this is like it is almost again. I'm using Lord of the Rings as the example here of just you can watch it again and again and again and again and still love every single time you're watching it.
Yeah.
It's just that's how I know that they did an amazing job. Is because I want to go back now and rewatch it to pick because again I did pick up a lot of things, but even last night I rewound it a few times in a couple spots, and saw even more.
And that
And
to me is the mark of a good story.
there are so many things like they killed so many good things in this, like killed in the good way. Like the little details are what made it go above and beyond. Where the viewers could kind of like it gave them the pieces where they could figure it out of like, will that actually work?
Yeah, they did. Yep. Perrin?
Preparing parent actually not super complicated.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I figured be quick, and then we can go to Matt.
Uh, okay, where do you want to start with parent?
I'm more than anything with Perrin is just that he's kind of a nexus point for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That whenever anything happened, it went to him and then it went to where they're supposed to be. And I just thought that was a really cool feature of his character that that's who he is.
Mm-hmm.
I I don't know. That's just a thought that I was having about it. And that's really what I wanted to talk about with Perrin.
Oh yeah, no, and it's actually really cool because again, there's a couple things we will talk about with parent, especially later on. Gathering, and that's where it's like they did a great job of like they didn't make him too complicated right now. He was just more on like the point where everybody's gonna gather, where Matt came to, where Loyal came to, where again everybody but Nynaeve and Elaine got to.
Yeah.
is he gathered all the other people to push them onto where they needed to go next.
Yeah.
And so then from there, it's just like goes into more of the Battle of Falma with Perrin fighting in the streets, fighting. I love how they had him fighting with Dane Bornhold.
That was really cool.
It was really cool to see. And then what happens next with Hopper?
That was so sad.
It was so sad, and I'm glad I did not spoil that for you.
Me too.
I can tell you
Yeah.
the happy ending with him.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so next season is going to be very much more interesting because they're going to be delving a lot more into Teleron Riyadh, the world of dreams.
Oh, okay.
And Perrin is one of the boys who starts really learning and traversing it.
Oh.
And as his guide is Hopper.
Oh, that's cool.
So there's the happy ending with Hopper is yes, he may be gone physically, but he is still connected to Perrin in the world of dreams.
And that was the feeling I was getting, is that they were still going to be connected, that he was ascending up somewhere. And I felt like he wasn't going to be gone forever.
He wasn't. And that's where they did a beautiful job in sending Hopper off. And the thing that I loved most with it is like it showed him not just jumping, but flying.
Yeah.
Because that's what Hopper always wanted to do was to be able to fly, to soar.
That's cool.
So there's the happy ending with Hopper, the next part of it.
Yeah.
So, and then with Perrin going through killing Dane's dad.
Yeah.
That was more
so well.
and to which, you know what, I'm more glad they did take this approach because in the book he never ever convinced Dane he wasn't the one that killed his dad.
Okay.
He never convinced him. So them just going, you know what, why don't we just have him do it in vengeance for Hopper? I felt
Yeah.
like was a good move. Personally.
I agree. I think it was a really good move to do.
So, and then I love how now that does actually create a rift between Dane and Perrin.
Yeah.
So, that's that part of it. I think that covers most of Perrin.
Yeah, that does.
Okay. Okay, Matt or Nynaeve?
Let's do Nynaeve, actually.
Nynaeve, very simple.
Yeah. I What I think is really cool about Nynaeve's part is while she can't use the one power offensively, unless she has to, or even healing or actively. I guess is a better word. She might not be able to use it actively. In this case, with the help of the device where she can feel it, it's there.
Yeah, the Adom.
She has full control.
Yeah, and actually, I kind of made
And
this joke while we were watching it. Because the
yeah,
Shaman and Lanfear are like, oh yeah, we got a couple of them close to turning to the dark. I'm just like, yeah, Nynaeve is the closest one.
I mean, you're not wrong. But at the same time, I think that the original intent of those devices could be really good for Nynaeve.
Mm-hmm.
That if someone like one of the I am wow, I can't
Toldom?
remember anything. No, one of the White Tower. What are they called? The
Aes Sedai?
Ice Sedai. That one of them actually used it with her to help teach her and train her, and not painfully, but actually just using it to help her control her powers.
Mm-hmm.
That could be really beneficial for her. Not that she'd ever go for
Oh,
that.
no.
I am, but I think that actually would be really beneficial to her, and that's one of the reasons I think it was created. Is for people like her.
Yeah, but again, it's always used for a dark purpose such as this.
Oh, definitely.
And for me, it just this is the thing that's very different from her in the books is because yeah, she does go through the interrogation, but she immediately like throws up afterwards
Gotcha.
because just everything that is involved with that, just being able to literally bend someone to your will and they are completely helpless.
Mhm.
For the Dumani, for the Soldom, that's a power game. They're like, yeah. But for all of the Aes Sedai, they're like, that is horrendous. Most of them would throw up at the prospect and the idea of it.
That's fair.
So the fact that Nynaeve was like, yes, give in to your hatred, made me go, okay. But then again, what follows afterwards, I kind of like because it really makes Nynaeve question herself.
Okay.
Where, again, she literally feels the bolt go through her neck
Yeah.
as the person she made her Dumani gets killed. Because you see
Yeah.
her go to her neck, just like, what the heck? And it's almost like she goes into shock.
Yeah.
And then having to deal with Elaine also getting shot.
Yep.
I just love how Elaine's like, you know what? Screw it. You can't do the one power. Your wisdom. Do what you know.
Yeah. And like you said though, even when she's injured, she's level-headed.
Yeah.
And they kept that character trait for her really well, and I'm really appreciative of that because it felt in character for her. Where she had her manic or like her moment of panic, and then she's like, "Okay, just do what you can. This is what you need to do. Just do it."
And
And
then
it
he's
was
like,
really,
yeah, go on.
right. Honestly, it was really well done. That's all I'll say.
Yes, it's really well done. And although Nynaeve pushing pushing the arrow through, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Although usually you break off the ends before you push it through.
But it's not an arrow. That's a bolt.
That's a bolt, so it's not as big.
No, bolts are thicker.
Thicker. Oh yeah, so true.
Bolts are
True.
much thicker. They're not gonna break that. The only way she's gonna get it off is by like snapping it hard against something. No, pushing it all the way through is the best option there.
All right, so still they did good job.
Yeah.
See, I stand corrected.
Just remember the arrows that we're shooting? How
Yeah,
thin they are?
yeah, they are
They're
snappable,
like
whereas a bolt is.
it's a solid inch thick
Yeah.
of solid wood.
Mm-hmm.
That's not snapping.
That's more. You got to get a saw, cut it off, and then push through.
Yeah. You have to remember that bolts were designed as an armor piercing round. That's what it was
Mm-hmm.
intended for.
Yeah.
It's big and heavy. It's a 45 ACP, basically. If you put in today's stuff, it's a 45 ACP. That thing is big, fat, and slow, but it's gonna pack a punch.
Mm-hmm. Very true. But yep, now onto Matt. The part that I love Matt in this. Oh,
This was awesome.
I was just like, they did my boy good.
I'll let you
Finally.
take it. I'll let you take this
Okay,
one fully because do it.
so first off, I love how first off they have Pat on Thane come in and be the charlatan that Pat on Thane is. Just really trying to sell Matt. It's just like, oh yeah, you're going to get to the dagger. Oh yeah, no, I know you, Matt. I know you. And then Matt's just like, yeah, about that.
Yep.
And this is Matt 2T, like again, because Min's visions are hardly ever wrong. Just Matt stabbing Rand with the dagger. Matt always subverts the wheel in just slightly. Like he will just change it slightly. So the fact that they turned it into the spear, which is his main weapon throughout the rest of the series,
Yeah.
was just beautiful. And then I love how he has the dagger on the stick. He's like, all right, I can now use this. And I don't have to touch it. All right, time to break out. And that dagger's
Go ahead.
basically a lightsaber. Just
I know, right? I loved that he said there's the guy that there's just in there and goes, only took you an hour? Man, I thought you last longer than was that? That's not supposed to work. You're not supposed to do that. Somebody help me because I'm about to die.
He's like, he cheated! He cheated! And it's like, yeah, buddy, there's no rules in this. Let's go.
Yo. Oh, so funny.
Then him running out, him taking the horn. Just all of that, I'm just like, oh, so beautifully done. And when he had that horn, I'm like, they're staying true to the book. They're staying true to the book. And then he gets to the part where he's just standing in front of just a wave of Shan Chan soldiers.
Before that,
Before
I,
that,
I have to talk about his character development.
okay, go for it.
So this is actually the moment that made me the most emotional. Like I didn't tear up or anything like that, but I felt it the most.
Mm-hmm.
Is when he got with like he's with Perrin and they're fighting, and Perrin hands him the horn and says, "Go to Rand." He's the first thing he says, "I will not leave you."
Mm-hmm.
Throughout the rest of that series beforehand, he would have left in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah.
And that moment and his determination of no, I know you think that I'm just the one that's gonna leave, and that's why you're giving it to me. And he goes, "I'm not doing that. I'm not leaving you." And then Perrin just turned and goes, "No, Rand needs it." And just it was undertext to me, and that's what I
Mm-hmm.
took from it. But it
Yeah.
was just for me the most emotional part, and just seeing his character development. And then that leads to the next part, which just built onto it, which is what you're talking about, where he's standing and facing down the guards. So please
Although,
continue.
real quick, since you brought me back to that, I love his one quip with Perrin.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, everybody's here. Rand's here. Rand's got crappy hair, but he's here.
That's right.
I'm just like, that is
It's
Matt.
so
That is
funny.
Matt to a T.
That was hilarious.
So now jumping forward to the horn. Him blowing the horn, because in the book, he is the one that blows the horn of Valir at this battle. And I love how they made Uno a hero of the horn.
That made me so happy.
Oh, it
On
made me happy beyond all belief.
I love that he even says, don't be so surprised that I'm the one of the heroes."
And Matt's like, oh, I was a hero of the horn once too. And I love how they're all just like, we followed you into battle time and time again.
Yeah, it was just a very powerful scene, and Matt realizing his potential.
Just everything with that scene. Matt, oh, this is what truly embodied him for me. Him actually now beginning to remember some of his old scenes.
Yeah,
And the one part that I absolutely loved in all of this is he said, "Dovaya andesa dovoyas again," which is in the old tongue his catchphrase of "It's time to toss the dice."
that's cool.
I was just like, oh, they did it! Yay! Like seriously, Megan, my mom will attest to. My arms were up in the air, and I was like, yes!
Oh, I can picture
Like
it.
I was just so excited that they. I'm like, yes, this is the Matt I've been waiting for. And
Yeah,
we got him. We got him.
that's awesome.
So everything that's led up to this point, I've been it's just so good. And when we got this payout, I'm like, it was worth it. I love this. It's just it was so good. And then actually there's one last party we do need to talk about before we get to the final conflict.
Okay.
Lan and Moraine.
Yes,
That was done so good.
that was. I so starting on the scene with the like there's two parts to it really. There's
I'll say let's
the
just start off when they get kicked out of the ways.
yeah, so that first part is there. They get kicked out. They have the conversation, and he, Lena's just like, "I want the bond back. Give it back." She goes, "Really? You want it back after everything I put you through?" He goes, "Yeah, obviously. Otherwise, I wouldn't have asked." um, he's like, "And I accept. I'm not your equal." And she goes, "It's because you're better than me." Duh. I'm just like, that is the trope I've seen coming a million times, and I should have seen it coming here, but I didn't.
I love that. Like honestly, that is what made me go, we're back to Lan and Moraine. The
Yeah.
true Lan and Moraine. Like I'm like, we're finally back on track. because Moraine, again, as you've seen, she did grow up as a noble. She is still noble at heart, but Lan, Lan is supposed to be the king of Malkier, so technically, he is higher in rank.
Yeah.
So the fact that she's like, "You were always better than me," made me go, she values him so freaking much.
It's so true.
And then everything that proceeds after it, I'm just like, oh, this is from the book. Like the way these two are fighting, this is the way a warder and an Aes Sedai actually work together.
That's exactly what my thought was. The moment I saw the guys coming down on the beach, I'm like, oh, this is about to be how it's supposed to be. Like, this is exactly how, where he defends her. Well, excuse me. Well, she casts the magic and just awesome. The arrow catching was done so phenomenally because that's the thing that always gets the warders is someone with a bow who shoots the Aes Sedai and Land is like, nope. And he gets like 3 different arrows and just jams it into one of the other guys he's fighting. And it's like, oh, this is just amazing.
And I love how it shows that because that is Lan as a swordsman. He has that prowess. He is that good. He is that strong. And so the fact that they leaned into it showed it. Where for me, it was showing the strengths of both a warder and an Aes Sedai. The warder, strong with the blade, able to defend the Aes Sedai for the physical attacks that are coming at them. And then the Aes Sedai, able to look at the bigger picture, the bigger game, and be able to cast those weaves, do what needs to be done. I was just like, oh, this is good.
Yeah. And to have the focus to be able to ignore everything else, to have that
And
full trust in the warder.
exactly, took the words right out of my mouth.
Oh,
Like,
and
oh, I just
yeah,
love that scene so freaking
yeah,
much.
it was awesome. And the way the CGI with the weave was just so beautifully done. It looked amazing. And just
Yes.
the cinematography with it and the animation and everything they did to make it look the way it did was just amazing. And this is the thing that I love. They always talk about how Egwene and Nynaeve are so much more powerful than any Aes Sedai in 1,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see Moraine decimate an entire fleet single-handedly. And
It's,
that puts in perspective how much more powerful these two could be.
oh, absolutely. And again, I love the way you said it because Moraine has years and years of experience. This is the work of a master.
Yes.
Whereas Nynaeve and Egwene, sure, it's like again, they have the big old muscles of weaving strength, so to speak.
Yes. They have a larger well, but that's it.
But Moraine has the skill, the specialty, the ability to, yes, use that little well to go a mile with it.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just straight brute forcing a door, she can go through and lockpick it instead. It's more
Yeah.
finessed.
And then she shows that finesse after the final battle with the dragon.
Ah, yes, and we'll definitely get to that at the very
We'll get
end.
to that. It was
Because
just so cool. I just had to put that out because it's so
it
cool.
is dope.
But
It is
yeah.
dope. One last thing, one small note that I saw in here is with actually the Aiel.
Okay.
The Aiel fighting, loved it so much. And one thing that they showed and done, just costume wise, just kills, like, just, they killed it. Is with the uh, Aiel, as you notice, they don't carry like big shields. They
Yeah.
have a buckler.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it showed that in the fight, it's like in Lord of the Rings, okay, we know Legolas has 2 swords. We mostly see him with the bow throughout the film, but there are a couple of instances where we do see him use his swords. That's what
Yeah.
it was for the buckler for me, is I saw the Aiel use the buckler, but still mastering with the spear. So, again, just a quick side note of just another thing they did excellently.
Oh yeah. And what I enjoyed is that they show each of their different styles of fighting. So
Mm-hmm.
you had the hero who died. I don't remember his name, but he was awesome. Uh, but him and his friend who had taken the armor from the uh,
Oh,
John Chan,
Inktar. Inktar.
Ingtar. And they fought very traditionally as traditional soldiers. They were very talented, but it's very traditional. And then you had the Aiel who fight very acrobatically.
Mm-hmm. It is
They're
a
very
dance.
focused. Yeah, it's focused on movement. It's focused on speed and agility. They don't need the heavy armor because they're not going to get touched.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that. I really liked how it shows the fighting styles and the culture just in that, and that was beautifully done.
Yes, it really was. And now, again, they're. I don't think they're going to cover it. If anything, I'll tell you after we're done with this,
Oh,
in
okay.
case. But now, onto the assemblage. Everybody converging on Egwene. Where again, we haven't covered Rand yet, but Rand prior to this, him being in the way is Lanfear basically saying, "Hey, go do this." Oh yeah, actually, we'll finish off with Rand because there was one part of this that I did like they changed from the book, although I think a lot of people are going to be upset.
Okay.
The battle with Turok.
Okay.
Because Turok is a sword master. He has a heron marked blade.
Yes.
So the fact he was like, all right, let's see what makes a sword master on this side of the ocean. And then Rand just uses the one power to kills him.
That was so Indiana Jones.
Whereas in the book, that is a full out fight.
Yeah. And I
Like
think,
they anyway.
go ahead.
As I say, it is a full out fight where it is a sword master versus a guy who's just carrying an Iron Mark blade, who is starting to learn it.
Yeah. And I think so. I think two things with this. The first is that he recognizes he's not on the same level sword wise as him.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's I'm not going to fight you that way because I would lose. But
Mm-hmm.
secondly, I really don't care because I'm just trying to get through you. You're an obstacle. You're not a focus to me. And it's very much just get aside and just massacre him. I loved that part. I love that trope of the Indiana Jones. The guy goes out all skilled and he just shoots him. Just done. I'm not going to put up with this. And it just, I love it. It's become one of my favorite tropes that I've seen a few different times.
Mm-hmm. I say it was good. It was done well. I know a lot of people are going to say, "But we want the sword fight." I was like, "Yeah, I'm good with this. I think it's funny. I'm going with it."
Yeah.
But yeah, then we get ran to the top of the tower facing a Shamael.
Yes.
Him going there, I like how he apologizes to Egwene for saying, "Yeah, sorry, I made you think I was dead. I thought I'd keep you safe that way."
Yeah. I was like, I understand why he's doing this, but wrong time, Rand. It's about to get worse.
And for me, I'm like, it's about to get worse. Let's see this. Let's see this.
you know, um, I thought it was really, really cool how they did it all. My one complaint
Okay.
is, and I know they had to do this for um a few things, but why? So, because Matt remembers who he used to be, which means, and it shows that he remembers his skill with the spear. Why would he position himself directly behind Rand? Because if Ashamael dodged, if he happened to dodge at all, he would have hit Rand.
Mm-hmm.
Why would he position perfectly to hit him? And I know they did it because that's how it's supposed to be and everything with it, but it bugs me so much that it's just like, just angles. Just better angle. Come on. So
And
that's my
here's,
only complaint.
I was gonna say, and here's my small counter argument. Yes, Matt remembers his past lives and is able to tap a little bit into that ability. He still doesn't have the right judgment, though. He doesn't have his past self's judgment.
Yeah. So
That's gonna come in time. Like that will come in time. But he just got him.
I recognize that. And I completely understand, and it's not something that I think is like a breaking flaw in any way. It's just something that bugs me personally. I just I had like I said, I understand completely why, but just to me, it's just
Why?
why?
Just shift a little bit to the left. Just sneak up to the left.
Because it's a that one is a trope I've seen so many times, and it's typically in modern, and that's where it's the issue is in modern
Mm-hmm.
things. Well, they'll have someone like line up a shot behind someone, with a gun and shoot at them, and then that person is supernatural or something and dodges it, and it kills their friend, and it's just like that's so dumb, and just but that's with the modern ones. With this, I understand it'd be different, and it's not game breaking. It's just from all those other ones that irks me.
Yeah, this one is more like we're trying to phase it out, so we're going to make him survive.
Oh yeah, yeah. It
But
was really well done. It was really well done, and one of my favorite things with it is after that, when he's getting healed by Elaine, he just looks up at her and has like the light coming from above. She's, "Who are you?" And I'm just like, "Hey, look! Now they're gonna fall in love."
yep, I was just like, and that's when Rand fell in love.
Yup.
And that's when Rand moved on from Egwene.
Yup.
Because at that moment, he felt something.
It was a healing, but it's still something.
To which actually I did like how they have it because I believe I'm not sure if it again I'm not sure if it was Matt who actually did this to him, but yeah, he does get stabbed by the dagger and it does cause that problem in healing, and that wound never heals right.
That's really cool.
So I'm glad they threw that detail in. I think they might have jumped the gun on that just a little bit, but I'm good with it.
Yeah.
But no, I like it. I like how Elaine was there. I like how they're all starting to work together. Because the main thing that I liked with this is that so Shamael is a Forsaken. He is a heavy hitter. He is a big boy. And I
Yeah.
liked how it did take 6 of these guys to go against him. Because it more
Yes.
shows that he is that strong, that it did require 6 people.
Oh yeah. I mainly because Rand was being shielded. Rand, I think, could have like when he was fully committed to it, could have taken him one on one.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't realize that, and so then he was shielded, and so they took all of them to defend him. And then once Rand was back up, it was just done.
Mm-hmm.
Though I am
And
very sad for his blade.
yeah, and that's actually, that does happen in the book.
I believe it. It felt like something that was true to the story.
Because the other small detail that they nailed in this specifically is the marking in his hand.
Yeah.
The heron mark in his hand.
So
Because
does that?
that is actually one of the prophecies of the
Okay.
dragon, is that he will bear the heron mark in his hand.
There you go.
Which what happens afterwards is really cool. With the Karakarn, as the Aiel call him.
Yeah.
But now to the ending part where I like what they did in the show compared to what they did in the book, which is the
Okay.
proclamation of the dragon. I
Yes.
love how Moraine made it an actual dragon that went above Falma onto the tower with Rand standing there.
Yeah.
So much better in my opinion than what they did in the book.
What happened
In
in the
the
book?
in the book, it's Rand versus Ashamael one-on-one being televised in the sky.
Oh.
And which Ashamael more looks like a deep, like he has like red eyes. He is just like a flaming specter to where it really looks like it is the dark one, and Rand fighting him.
Okay.
That is proclaimed above Falma, and then all these artists they depict it and then send it out to the rest of the world.
Gotcha.
That is how he is proclaimed in the book. This this feels like a badass.
And it brings in one of my favorite tropes of they make the prophecy fulfilled.
Yes.
that if they didn't actively do that, it wouldn't have happened. And they knew of it. So it's the self-fulfilling prophecy,
Mm-hmm.
I guess is the actual one. But I love that trope. I love that they're like, wait, this is supposed to happen. I can do this. And so they do it.
Yeah. It's very much like, oh, it's got to happen. You know what? Who's going to do it? I'll do it. I got it.
Yeah.
Kobe.
Gosh.
That's the general vibe, all right? And then I'm saying post credits, very end with the release of the other Forsaken, specifically Mogadine. And this is why I'm saying next season is going to be heavily held, like all the stuff happening is going to be in Teleran Riyadh.
Yeah.
It's because that's Mogadine's specialty. She puts land fear to shame in Teleran Riyadh.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yes, and actually Mogadine in the old tongue means spider.
Makes sense.
And yes, that quote she says, yeah, that's 100% accurate from the book.
Nice.
Because she,
What are they?
I would say, because she is that spider type character where she will stay reserved and not put herself in harm's way and still manipulate everybody.
Yeah, she lays her webs.
Correct. And actually, I'm excited because she screws with Nynaeve the most.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, at one point she makes a threat saying, "You know what? Every single time you dream, I'm turning you into a horse and I'm riding you." Like,
That's hilarious.
in one respect, like, because in the book when you're reading that, like, she says it in such a way that you're like, "Oh, that is horrifying." When I say it like this, it's hilarious.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I believe that, but it's still really funny.
But okay,
Yeah, I'm excited to see how they are. But here's my thought, and I don't want to be told if I'm wrong or right. I truly feel like they're gonna find a way to have someone break free of the Dark One, and Lanfear will side with them.
okay. But overall, now, what would you rate season 2 Wheel of Time out of 10?
Honestly, for me, it's a 10 out of 10.
All right.
I don't do that lightly either.
And for me, I've been hesitant. It's like, I do want to give it a 10 out of 10. I feel like I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. But I do want to
Yeah.
give it a 10 out of 10. I know I might be missing something, but overall, the way they've approached it, the way they've done everything, I'm giving it a 9 so that way, in more respects, like, there's room for them to improve. Like, there's other things they can do that, like, overall, they've killed it. They've done absolutely everything beautifully. Execution, 10 out of 10. I just don't want to give them a big head.
I get that, but here's the thing with it: is anything that they would like. I wouldn't change anything about the season.
No,
I really wouldn't.
no.
I think the execution is perfect. The characters, the CGI, the acting, the choreography, everything with it. I wouldn't change anything with it. Coming from looking at it as a whole, of this season.
Okay.
And because of that, this season is a 10 out of 10.
Okay. I'm going to bump it to 9.5 because there is one thing I'd want to change, which was Lan being super whiny in the beginning.
Fair enough. 9.5 it is.
9.5. Because just, like, I understand, like, again, seeing it all now come together, I just felt like Lan being as whiny as he was in the beginning, it does tone it down. Tone it down. Just more. Don't make him whiny. Just make him more confused. And have him begin going thinking this is like, why in the world would Moraine do this? Why? Just why? Because I know her. I know her almost more intimately than anybody knows her. Why would she do this? Have it be more that approach instead of just the, oh, Moraine has separated my bond kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like the whiny route probably a bad one, but him just going, why would she do this? And have him begin speculating from that point on. I think that would have been a better character choice. But other than that, everything else done beautifully. Execution, solid. They covered all the information from the book, but was done in a slightly different way, but still stayed true to the source material and the spirit of it. So again, 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I agree. I'm actually really excited for next season, and I'm 100% gonna watch it.
Yeah, me too. And I think that's where we will put the bookmark for now until next season comes out for Wheel of Time.
Yep. Have a great one. And talk to you guys next time.
Thanks so much for tuning in, guys.